travel, some people get delirious, some get delayed, and some get Del Griffith.
American Light and Fixture, Director of Sales, Shower Curtain Ring Division.
Neil Page got all three.
I was on my way home to spend a nice holiday with my family. Instead, I'm in a motel bed with a stranger.
So instead of Thanksgiving with his family, he's spending 3 days with the turkey.
Two happy clams just whistling down the road.
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones, everybody Tony's family.
Paramount Pictures presents
Wilma!
Steve Martin.
You're going the wrong way! What? Are you mad at me?
John Candy.
Why are you holding my hand? Where's your other hand? Between two pillows.
Those aren't pillows.
In a new film by John Hughes. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
See that Bears game last week? Yeah, hell of a game.
Hello and welcome to the 49th episode of the M-Wire. Today we are going to be discussing planes, trains, and automobiles. I am TF Joe and Mike, and joining me is Kevin Optimus Solo Thompson from Tooncast and BehindTheVoiceActors.com.
Hello.
Hello, how are you, sir?
I'm superb.
Yes, that's good. I don't know if it was a scheduling conflict or what the deal was, but Steve said he wasn't going to be in this episode. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with him. Well, then again, he was born in 1986, so he kind of came into the 80s late.
Shame on him.
Oh, crap. So this episode will actually air a week after we barely celebrated the 1-year anniversary of this show, on episode 48, which we talked about Jumanji, I think. Yeah, it's been a rough week, so I don't really remember what the hell we talked about last week. But yeah, planes, trains, and automobiles. When was the first time you saw this?
Oh, God. I honestly don't remember the exact time when I saw it. I know I saw it when I was young. Let's see, I would have been about 6 years old when it came out. I'm guessing I saw it when I was around 10 or 12 maybe. So it was probably a few years after, 5 or 6 years after it came out probably. But I saw it probably, I don't know, early 90s somewhere maybe.
Yeah.
And it was instantly one of my favorite movies, comedy-wise.
Yeah, I think I started. I don't really remember because I know there is cursing in this film, especially in one scene which we'll get to a little bit later. But I honestly, I think I was 9 or 10 maybe, so 89 or 90, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's probably about when I saw it.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I'm not really sure. Do you want to do a plot or do you want me to do it?
I can talk about the plot a little bit.
Okay.
Alright, so basically, obviously, it's a Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, for those that don't know. It's an American comedy film, written and directed by John Hughes and stars Steve Martin and John Candy, of course. Alright, so the plot, basically, Steve Martin is a tightly wound character named Neil Page. He's an advertising executive, and John Candy is a innocent and well-meaning, but accident-prone and overly talkative and somewhat reckless shower curtain salesman named Del Griffith. And basically the story goes that they start off in New York. They have a little fiasco with the taxi cab where Steve Martin's trying to get a taxi cab. Doesn't work out because John Candy basically steals it. That's the first time they meet each other. And then they meet each other in the airport, on the plane. You know, they have a delayed flight on the plane, and we just basically travel with them as they're trying to get back to their homes for Thanksgiving. Steve Martin's set on being with his family on Thanksgiving because he doesn't want to let them down, like I'm sure he does often. And John Candy really doesn't care too much. I mean, he's kind of a carefree, go-with-the-flow type guy, and it's basically just their journey to try to get Steve Martin back and home in time for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Oh, jeez.
The short version of the plot.
Wow. Yeah, wow. This film is so messed up.
I love this film.
I love it, but it's just so messed up. I now know why, and we'll talk about this later, but there are two DVD versions of this. There was the original bare bones edition that was put out in 2000, and then last year they put out a special edition. Those aren't pillows edition.
Nice.
I'll talk about the DVD a little bit later, but after watching this thing before we started recording tonight, I now know where that goes from. I was like, oh god, because I so don't remember that. It's been at least 25 years since I've seen this.
25 years since you've seen this?
Yes. Somewhere around there, 2015, 20. Whenever the last time I saw it was, that's
23 at the most.
Yeah, whatever.
So it's probably been at least a decade.
Whatever.
So. You didn't watch it today?
Well, I said before this.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I did watch. Yeah.
See, this is something that ever since the first time I've seen this, I don't think there's been 3 or 4 years that has gone by that I haven't watched it again. Part of it's because I love John Candy and I love just about everything he does. Yeah. I have almost all his movies, but this movie in particular, I just love the pairing of these two characters, and it's just absolutely freaking hilarious. So I can't go too long without watching it.
See, my thing was, whenever it would come on TV, obviously they would have to bleep it, and obviously until 2000 we never had a DVD of it. Of course, yeah, there was VHS, but I don't ever remember owning this on VHS whatsoever.
No, I didn't either.
I honestly don't. And actually, up until 2.5 weeks ago, I didn't own it on DVD either. I had to actually order this on Amazon in preparation for this episode. So yeah, even though I love this film, huh?
Shame on you.
Yeah, shame on. So it's a good thing we did this episode now and not like 3 or 4 months down the road, because holy crap, I still wouldn't have had it in wow. What'd you think of the cuddling scene?
I mean, that was probably I don't know. That actually wasn't one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I mean, it was funny, but I like so many other parts better.
I think it's funnier after the reaction, after they get up.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's the Bears? It was just
getting the Bears reference in there. It's always good. There's so many good parts in this movie, though. It's really hard to pick out favorite parts in here for me.
Yeah, you have them in like the upteenth degree of Kevin Bacon as well, because Kevin Bacon played the taxi racer.
Right, yep. And that's kind of an interesting scene, because if you listen to it real carefully, you can actually, in the background, you can hear the fight from between Kevin Bacon and Elizabeth McGovern that's from the movie She's Having a Baby.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting thing. So Kevin Bacon's, of course, always got nice connections to everything. I'm still trying to think of my favorite. I love the scene, not because it's so funny, but I love the scene where Steve Martin just goes off on John Candy in the hotel room.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's you feel so bad for John Candy, and they did such a good job of like getting the viewer to feel sorry for John Candy there.
Yeah.
And it's just a very powerful scene. But I'd have to pick a funnier scene for my favorite scene. But that scene for some reason sticks with me so much because of how mean he was and kind of John Candy's reaction to it. It's a very powerful scene to me within a comedy that doesn't have a lot of what you would call powerful scenes.
Oh yeah, very, very much so.
There's so many good scenes. I'm going to have to think about this for the whole show before I get my favorite scene, though.
I just want to go back to the plot a little bit. We need to talk about the ending. And I know we're kind of like jumping all over the place here, but, you know, you had mentioned that scene where it, you know, first of all, Neil, as you said, is very, very uptight. And Dell is pretty much this, you know, whatever happens will happen.
Right.
And you kind of see Neil melt at the end when, because Neil is under the assumption that Dell has a wife and family of his own, which he frequently mentions his wife, Marie, and puts a framed picture of her on his various mental nightstands. Neil is taken aback when he later pieces together things Dell said to realize that Dell is alone. He goes back to the train station where he had left Dell and sees Dell sitting alone inside an empty station. After they finally make it back to Chicago, Dell tells Neil that Marie actually died 8 years ago and that he's been homeless ever since. The bond between the two men strengthens further when Neil invites Dell to enjoy Thanksgiving with his family. So I thought that was a really nice ending.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And it also shows that, Dell, that character hides. I mean, he puts on a good mask.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's always jumping around from motel to motel, and I don't know how the hell, and you kind of get it wrong. He's not in the shower curtain division. He's in the shower curtain ring division. He just sells the rings.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, but I don't know how you could go around the country making a living on that, though. Seriously.
Different time back then.
Well, all right, yeah, that's true. But I mean, just in general, even back then. I mean, yeah. I honestly don't know. I mean, yeah, I've heard, we all know door-to-door salesmen and Avon and Tupperware and Fuller Brush and whatever the hell else, But yeah. I mean, I don't.
Well, he obviously doesn't make much of a living.
Obviously not.
But I think you brought up a good point there, and I think he does, John Candy, and the writing and everything for his role, they do an excellent job of not only keeping that from Steve Martin's conscious about what's going on with John Candy, but the audience really is kind of, they hide it from them too. I mean, yep. I remember watching it, and the first time I watched it, I just thought he was kind of this crazy guy that was kind of in the same situation. You never realized what the real story was until Steve Martin realizes it. So it's kind of cool to experience that at the same time as a character.
And like I said, it's been a number of years since I've seen this, and I'm almost coming into this movie fresh. Yes, I remember the car rental scene, which we'll get to in a few minutes. Yes, I remember the hotel scene, both of them. The hotel yelling of Neil, and then the in bed scene. The shower scene was horrible. God. Poor guy. But I honestly, I did not remember the ending of this film. I remember that that the two of them go back to Neil's house, but I honestly did not remember why. And wow. That's wow. Why the hell is Neil an ad exec in New York when his family lives in Chicago? Obviously he's married. He's not divorced. He's not separated.
Yeah.
What the hell is that all about?
Yeah, I don't know if he's just out there. I think it was just a singular business trip. I think he didn't necessarily work out of there on a permanent basis. I think he was there trying to sell something or trying to do something, and it was just a trip, a temporary trip, so to speak.
Okay, all right. Because the way that it made it sound was, I don't know, just to me when they were sitting in the boardroom,
they made it look like an everyday situation.
Yeah. And oh god, that boss of theirs, holy crap. I want to stick a knife into his eye. It's like, say something, pick one. Job. Yeah, really. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he was working out of Chicago, and that was just a trip to New York for a specific thing.
Yeah, that could be. I know it isn't. I know that both this and Home Alone were filmed in Chicago.
They're actually filmed a town away from each other.
I know. Well, what I was going to say was, it looks to me when they're walking down the street with the trunk, it looks like the exact same street that the McAllister's house is on. And then when I noticed the house of Neil, outside of the fact that there's no driveway, that there's no U-shaped, there's no horseshoe driveway in front by the front door, that is almost the Home Alone house as far as the outside of it goes.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the Home Alone neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but...
yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. Alright, let's talk about it. The rental car scene.
It's a great scene.
Oh, God. It shocks the hell out of me what Edie McClurg shows up in.
Yeah, that's true.
It really does, because she can show up in anything.
Yeah, and she plays that role so well.
Oh, yeah.
But basically, if you don't know who Edie McClurg is, she is the attendant that they go to at the rental car place that Steve Martin has to deal with.
Yeah.
Or she has to deal with Steve Martin, however you want to view that.
Yeah, and I honestly, I cannot repeat verbatim what he said. I know what she said in the end was, what? You're fucked. I actually ripped that audio out, so that'll be in this episode somewhere. I think it'll be close to the end of the episode. Oh wow,
I do love the scene though when they're in the car and when basically they ruin the rental car with the cigarette and melts down the entire car except for the radio. That was just a great scene.
Honestly, I don't doubt that Dell, John Candy, whatever whether you want to do it as a character or as the actual actor, I don't doubt that he could have broken that seat. He's like, oh come on, you can't break a car seat. They made us whatever he said. I don't remember what he said, but I'm a big guy myself, so I know it's I haven't done it, thank God, but I'm sure it's possible. Because I've gone through in the past, I'd say 4 years, I've gone through about 6 office chairs for my desk. Anyway, that's a whole other story. What else do you want to talk about with this film?
I mean, obviously the other big scene that we kind of touched on a little bit, the F-bomb scene, which is basically, I guess, from what I've read about it, that it's a minute-long segment, and they use the F word 18 times, at least. So 18 F words in 60 seconds or so from Steve Martin, and I guess it was intentional to try to make sure that the movie got a different rating.
Actually, no, it wasn't. On the DVD that I have here, which one? It's the special feature, Getting There is Half the Fun, the story of planes, trains, and automobiles. It's part of a panel segment that Martin, Candy, and Hughes did. Mm-hmm. And they asked him about, what's the controversy with the, John Hughes and the MPAA. And he said there's no controversy. He said that, it's adult humor. It's for adults. We only have, we dropped the F-bomb once in the movie, or one time in the movie, as far as one scene. So, but no, I don't think it didn't even.
I'd read something about that, not necessarily for the U.S., but without that scene, it would have been rated a different rating in the U.K., and they wouldn't have been able to show it in certain areas. But I'm not 100% sure. There's also a scene that a lot of people don't see if they see the TV movie or certain versions of it, because I think it's only on the DVD version, maybe, is the scene in the airplane with them eating.
Actually, that is the deleted scene is on the DVD. It's on the Those Aren't Pillows edition, the one that got released in 2009. Mm-hmm. The one that got released in 2000 on DVD is just a bare bones. It's just
it is.
It's just the movie. Awesome. It's just the movie and subtitles and whatever other. Which I'm sorry, but when they say stuff like widescreen version, Dolby Digital Surround, Spanish mono, subtitles, those are not special features. Those are specifications of the DVD. I hate it.
And they're on every DVD, so it's not special.
Huh?
They're on every DVD, so it's not special.
No, I know, and that's what I'm saying. But sometimes on some DVDs, and I've ranted on MWire about this in the past. On some DVDs, they list the specifications as special features, and
that's what they do on this one.
Yeah,
because I have the crappy version, and it says special features, big bold on the back of it, and then it says widescreen version, Dolby Digital, English subtitles, interactive menus, and scene selection.
Yeah. Those are not special features, those are specifications of the fucking disc.
Yeah. So I gotta go buy the other disc eventually.
Yes. So you need to get the new version, the 2009 version. I got it off Amazon for, I think, I don't know, $10, $12, something like that.
Yeah, Amazon has had some good deals lately.
Yeah, they had Fraggle Rock earlier for $37.49, but I'm dead broke.
Whole series.
Yep.
Whole series.
Yep.
And I have the whole animated series, so I was very tempted by that.
Yeah, I need to get both. And now that I actually remember that there's, wow, we're really getting off tangent here, but wow, there's so many cartoons that keep popping up. Like, I know there's not a lot of DVDs for it, but I thought of Alf the animated series. Wow, Tooncast schedule just keeps changing and changing.
Yeah.
But anyway, on the Wikipedia article that I cut and paste, because I cut and paste the wiki into Word for every episode of M-Wire just because it's easier than having the website open. They show a map of the intended route and then the actual the different lines of what they had to go through. The actual flight went from New York to Wichita. Then they get on a train from Wichita to somewhere, I think it's St. Louis, maybe, I'm not sure. And then they got the bus went to St. Louis, I think.
Yeah, the train goes about halfway through Missouri, and then the bus goes to St. Louis.
Right, and then the rental car goes about halfway into Illinois, and then the milk truck goes the rest of the way. Oh God,
that's great.
What did you think of the cast of this?
The cast is phenomenal. I mean, and you know, John Candy, like I said before, I like him in just about any movie I've ever seen him in. Steve Martin, for me, is a little more hit and miss. I mean, I like most of his stuff, but there's plenty of stuff that I don't like. But the choosing of those two for these roles was genius.
Yes.
There's definitely no other. Some movies you could say, oh, you could sub this guy in, or you could sub that person in, and it would still be good, or it would be better. No, not for this movie. Nobody could have taken these two guys' place.
No, not at all.
And like you said, I mean, the rest of the cast with people like Edie McClurg, or, you know, you have little short segments from like Kevin Bacon and Ben Stein, and his boss is a fairly famous actor. I just can't remember his name right now. But it's a pretty decent cast. I mean, really, you only need Steve Martin and John Candy, and the rest is, you know, inconsequential. But it's a decent cast, even with all the side people.
No, you know, you got and the thing with Hughes is he likes going back and giving people stuff to do in his other films, like Ferris Bueller's Dad's in here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really at the end
Matthew Lawrence is in there.
Yep. Whoa. It's actually Joey, but yeah, Matthew Lawrence is in here. Lila Robbins, oh my God, at the end of the film, when he went up the stairs to hug her or whatever, she just looked ugly as all get out. I'm sorry. That just didn't look like somebody Steve Martin would marry. I mean, you know, where's Diane Keaton? Come on, let's go.
Yeah. But, you know, this is just one of those films where you're just entertained by the main two stars, and you really don't hardly even notice anybody else besides Edie McClurg and Ben Stein. That's about the only two other people I even would have been able to tell you were in the movie besides Martin and Candy.
Yeah, well, I noticed Bacon because everybody notices Bacon. I noticed Ferris's dad because everybody should know Ferris's dad by now. But overall, it's a really great film. It's a really great friendship type of film, or learning to become friends type of films. Mm-hmm. So I guess going into the reception here, the film marked a widely noticed change to the repertoire of John Hughes. The film was greeted with critical applause in 1987, and surprising revelation given the fact that at the time Steve Martin and John Candy were both known as relatively low-brow comedians, and John Hughes was considered a teen angst filmmaker. Their attempts at producing an adult comedy resulted in one of the most highly regarded films of the decade. It now has 95% positive ratings on Rotten Tomatoes and is featured in Roger Ebert's Great Movies collection. In 2000, readers of Total Film magazine voted the 10th greatest comedy film of all time. The film also was a financial success, earning over $150 million on a mere $15 million budget. This has proved to be one of John Candy's highest-grossing films. While some of the film reviewers were critical of the gushy tones and silliness seen in the film, which affected the ability to convey emotional range, most applauded the humor itself. In the Baby Not On Board episode from the TV series Family Guy, Peter Griffin recites John Candy's speech almost word for word. Fuck Family Guy.
Family Guy's awesome.
The guy sucks.
No, it's awesome. And apparently John Hughes had shot 3 hours worth of footage for the movie too. And I guess in an interview they asked him if there was really 3 hours, and he said, yeah, there is, but it would take years to try to put it all together to make it all back into a film, because it's all just bits and pieces of film.
Yeah, I mean, they could probably do it, like if they were, this thing is coming up on some sort of anniversary in 2017, isn't it?
Well, yeah. 30 years? 40 years?
Let me look, hold on.
30 years.
Oh, whoops.
30 years.
You sure?
Yep. I did my math.
Yeah. So,
but he said most of it's locked up in the Paramount vault.
Well, even if it is locked up in the Paramount vault, I am sure that if they can find a way at Warner Brothers to put back Dick Donner's Superman 2 cut, I'm sure that they can find a way to put together this, like in some sort of 30th anniversary edition DVD, even if it was in there as deleted scenes.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they could find a way to do so. As far as the home video release, the film was released on DVD in 2000 in a quote-unquote bare-bones presentation, and a special edition, Those Aren't Pillows edition, was released on October 20th, 2009. And let's talk about this for a second, seeing as how you have the shitty copy. I'm sure it's pretty much the same thing as what you have, other than the actual special features. Getting there is half the fun, the story of planes, trains, and automobiles. John Hughes for adults, and a tribute to John Candy, and then the deleted scene of airplane food. Now, I did watch all of Getting There Is Half the Fun. I watched part of Hughes for adults, and I watched like 3 or 4 minutes of the Hughes of the tribute to Candy. One of the reasons why I didn't watch it all was because I just didn't have time. I mean, I'm sure I'll go back and watch it eventually. But basically what it is they just basically cut one long, like, I guess press conference into 3 different features. Because it's the 3 of them in all 3 features. See, I thought the tribute to John Candy was something that they went back and did after he passed away. But it's pretty much the story behind Planes, Trains, the John Hughes adult filmmaking, or whatever the hell, not adult filmmaking, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
This is not porn, thank you very much. We are explicit, but we are not that explicit yet. Notice I said yet. So it basically breaks up this one long press conference into 3 different features. Okay. So, there you go. You have anything else you'd like to say about this?
Just that I need to get the other DVD so I can see all the special features.
Yes, you do.
And that you had just mentioned that this is one of John Candy's highest-grossing films, or it is the highest-grossing film, and you know that's a big statement, because John Candy had so many classic movies, in my opinion. I know a lot of them at the time, if you were, our age when they came out, they were probably like these Saturday Night Live movies that we're seeing these days, but people didn't take them serious, but they're so classic.
Well, the line is... Yeah, the line is, this has proved to be one of Candy's highest grossing. It's not the highest grossing film, but it's one of them.
And that's a big statement, because he had a lot of good stuff out there.
So. Oh, yeah. Well, except for Wagons East and Delirious. I didn't like those 2 very much, but anyway.
I have a bunch of I have like the John Candy complete collection of DVDs, basically.
I have Uncle Buck in the other room. I got to put that on the schedule at some point.
Great stuff.
Yes. Actually, I don't. Did John Hughes do Uncle Buck too?
I don't know. Not sure if this was the start of a bunch of them that he did like that or not.
I don't remember, but I'm actually I'm drawing a line between this and Uncle Buck, because he tries to throw the cigarette out the car window, and it falls back in the seat, and Uncle Buck, he falls asleep with the cigar on the couch, and it burns the couch down. I think it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is a John Hughes film. I remember that now. Because Hughes just passed away, and I had just gotten Uncle Buck in the mail, and at the time, This Week in Geek had put out their retrospective or tribute episode to Hughes. So yeah, it is a Hughes film. Yeah, that'll have to go on the schedule somewhere. All right. So, do we have anything else?
Just it's good stuff.
Yes. Now you are going to hear that epic rental car scene.
Hey! 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 The car's not there! I need a ride back! I'm messing with the wrong guy!
Stitch. No, Mom's gonna do the turkey. Yeah, Dad wants ambrosia, so I guess we gotta get those miniature marshmallows. And I'll do the crescent rolls, and you do the cranberries. You know I can't cook. Oh. Yeah, well, I'll see you tomorrow then. Gobble, gobble. Oh, bye-bye. Welcome to Marathon. May I help you?
Yes.
How may I help you?
You can start by wiping that fucking dumbass smile off your rosy fucking cheeks.
Then you can give me a fucking automobile. A fucking Datsun, a fucking Toyota, a fucking Mustang, a fucking Buick. 4 fucking wheels and a seat.
I really don't care for the way you're speaking to me.
And I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of fucking nowhere with fucking keys to a fucking car that isn't fucking there. And I really didn't care to fucking walk down a fucking highway and across a fucking runway to get back here to have you smile at my fucking face. I want a fucking car right fucking now.
May I see your rental agreement?
I threw it away.
Boy.
Oh boy, what?
You're fucked.
Do not be alarmed. This transmission is being jacked by the lunchroom. We are here to tell you that the lunchroom has been rebooted. It is now a part of the Geekcast radio network and is still available at thelunchroom.net. It debuts every Monday or Wednesday or whenever we see fit to give it to you. Any further information can be found at thelunchroom.net. We will now return you to your regular program.
Did you know that Justin Bieber's actually Webster in a girl suit?
Did you know that Teddy Ruxpin's friend Grubby actually a tapeworm?
Did you know that Gargamel was really a cat lady?
Did you know that Billy Zane is the only man to ever beat Chuck Norris? If you didn't know any of these things, then you should be currently listening to Chicken Pop Pod Retro Comedy Podcast. Catch it at chickenpoppod.com.
So, final thoughts on the pillows.
Well, I mean, this is just easily one of my favorite comedies of all time. I'm a humongous fan of old school comedy, and when I say old school, I'm talking about, John Candy and...
You're talking about real comedy.
Yeah, John Candy, Bill Murray. I could watch just about anything either one of those guys does, and this, out of all their movies, this one's up at the top, or up near the top of all the comedies that I treasure. I don't know. I love John Candy. I love this movie, and it's definitely funny, as funny today as it was the first time I saw it. And I don't watch a lot of movies over and over again. I'm not a big fan of rewatching movies, and this is one that I can rewatch without a problem.
I agree, and I disagree at the same point. I agree with that you can watch it over and over again, or over a period of time, seeing it multiple times. But I honestly, for me, movies are not just a one-time watch. We covered it over in Tooncast in the Christmas episode. I watch Christmas Vacation every year. I don't care how old that movie gets, I will watch that film every year at Christmas, on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, until the day I die. This film, I don't know when the next time I'll watch it is, but at least I have it now, so I can watch it instead of having to go out and find it online or something.
Yeah.
But, I mean, see, sometimes... It's funny, sometimes I buy DVDs because I want to watch them, and other times I buy them because, I have to add them to the collection. It's just one of those things where it's almost like I'm a pack rat for DVDs and toys. And when I say DVDs, I don't just mean films, I mean TV shows as well. Something we're going to have to add to the MWire schedule eventually is, I just bought it off Amazon a couple weeks ago, Throw Mama from the Train.
Oh, God.
Yeah! So,
yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, you need to watch it, and I don't know, to me it's a must-have in any DVD collection, just because, especially with comedies that you can watch over and over again, like we're talking about, and you should own this, and you should watch it.
Yes. Yes. So, what do you guys got going on over at BBTA?
Let's see.
Did you fill out that Frank Welker resume anymore?
Well, it's up to, good lord, it's up to like 200, no, is it 300 and, oh god, I'll have the number here in 2 seconds. It is 279 characters we have credited for him right now. But basically the latest things I've done, obviously other people are doing all kinds of other stuff, but the latest stuff I've done, which I sent you the link for, is both the Laugh Olympics show and getting all
damn
those
time
characters in, and good lord, that's a great voice cast. And then what else did I do? Oh, I just got done two more things. Tiny Toons Adventures, I filled out that page almost entirely. I mean, not entirely because there's so many freaking characters, but I have...
Now, is that just a character page? That's a character page. These aren't voice compares, right?
No, those aren't voice compares. The last voice compare I did was actually, I just started what I'm calling a Hanna-Barbera Classic voice compare section, and the first character I did was Mildew Wolf from It's the Wolf and Laugh Olympics.
Okay.
So I'm going to be adding a lot of Hanna-Barbera characters to voice compares, but and I did update a bunch of Transformers voice compares with the voices from the Japan-only Transformers Tataki PS2 game. And the voices are pretty terrible, but I added those to about 6 or 7 characters on the Transformer voice compares.
Mm-hmm.
So there's stuff all the time there, and if you're a fan of voice actors or the voice compares, friend us on Facebook, because every time we do a new voice compare, we post it on our Facebook page.
Yes. So I think that's about it. So thank you for joining us here on MWire, Movie Week in Review. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. You can comment on each episode post. Join the forums, ParadoxEmpire.com/Nexus. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. We still have no feedback for MWire. We're almost 50 episodes into this show, and there's been no feedback. I know we've had horrible episodes in the past as far as audio quality, but come on. I mean, damn, there's got to be somebody listening to this show. Because if not, we'll just cancel the damn thing and we won't do it anymore. But then again, that would not make me watch all my DVDs in my collection. Anyways, follow us on Twitter. Show name there is GCRNMWire. It's all one word. Mine is TFG1 Mike. What is your Twitter?
Boss K-Dog.
Become a fan on Facebook. Search Geekcast Radio Network and Behind the Voice Actors. We hope you enjoyed this episode of MWire and wish you'll join us next time when we'll be reviewing Indiana Jones. All 4 of them. Or 5, whichever you prefer. Yes, and Kevin will be joining us on that episode because, honestly, I have nothing against Raiders and I have nothing against Temple of Doom. I'm just not interested in those films. I've seen them before and I just don't like them.
They're great.
And Crystal Skull can kiss my ass. So the only one I will actually be talking about on episode 50 is the only one that I consider really good is Last Crusade.
It is my favorite one too, but the others are all good. Crystal Skull's just not as good.
Crystal Skull, I'm sorry to say...
We can agree that Last Crusade's the best and Crystal Skull's the worst.
Crystal Skull, I'm sorry to say, is Shia LaBeouf sucking on Spielberg's dick.
Now we just got really explicit.
Well, it has an explicit tag to it, and I've said this before. Between, you could have Steven Spielberg on the left and Michael Bay on the right, and in between.
Wow.
Oh, God, now we got really explicit.
So that's all coming next week. So.
Wow. Okay, so for now, I'm TFG and Mike with...
Optimus Solo from BehindTheVoiceActors.com.
You're listening until next time. Holy shit.
In a world, there, I said it, happy,